right, Power Breakfast continues this morning here on Citizen TV. We've got interesting discussion happening today about the balance between work life and home life in this digital age. Are you able to ever switch off? We'll be talking with my panelists for today, so I just want to introduce who I've got here with me. James Mura, who's a blogger and journalist. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I've also got Dr. Catherine Siengo Mutisia, who's a consultant psychiatrist. So thanks for being with us. This is, partly even a personal issue as we start discussing this. I mean, let's start with you, James. Is it possible to switch off in this day and age, ever, at any point in time? Because we're getting our news, from being connected online, our jobs, we're communicating with our employers and our co-workers. Is it ever, feasible to even switch off in this day and age?
Actually, you don't have an option. You actually have to switch off.
You do?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you want to do with your life is that sometimes you need to switch off so that you can continue with your life.
Yeah. Because
one of the things about the connectedness we have today with our social media and our constant need to be in touch is that we actually stop living. Yeah. So number one thing you need to do, you need to learn to switch off. Because if you don't switch off, you don't do anything else.
Yeah.
The only person who wants to be always switched on is somebody whose job it is to be switched on. So you have somebody who's either a social media consultant, somebody who's, it's their career.
Yeah.
If it's not your career to be online, there's no need for you to be online all the time.
But a lot of people feel like it is their career, even if they're not social media consultants. You just feel like, I need to be in the know. I need to know what's happening. Breaking news, I need to get it online. I need to, in my work WhatsApp group, I need to be connected. So where's the line? I'll talk to the doctor here. Is there a fine line, and especially in this day and age that we're, we can't put our phones down, we're always connected. Is there a fine line in separating the home and work life in this day and age?
You're right, Joy. We're seeing many people who get stressed out because they are not able to manage their time. Because now we have smartphones which give you notifications when there's an email, when there's an SMS.
Even like lying down to sleep and your phone is going off.
Yes. Yeah. And I also believe even people who have to work on delicate professions, like even doctors, nurses, there's a role of working in shifts, such that, it is my shift now, I'm on call, but after you're off shift, then there's no reason that there's anybody who should actually be online throughout, because it's not healthy. It helps to put your phone somewhere and sleep, because if you're getting notifications at night, it will be stressful. We say that for you to be able to manage your life well, you need to prioritize. And for sure, when you go home, instead of having me time or time with your family, then you continuously keep checking your notifications, then you're not balancing your life well.
We see, pictures of families sitting together to have dinner in this day and age, but everyone is like this. There's no communication of how is your day, what's going on in your life, as in these gadgets have taken over. Do you see a point in time when this is not happening anymore? Because I feel like it's getting worse.
I mean, one of the problems is that they actually have a term for it. It's fear of missing out. FOMO.
FOMO.
Now, the problem with that is that you're sitting somewhere thinking there's something happening somewhere that you really need to know. Now, if you're in a situation where, listen, unless you're in a situation where somebody is dying, or something horrible is happening, or with your career, usually you do not need to be logged on. When you go to a family event or your family, you need to have like a system where you say, listen, everybody puts their phones here and their tablets, their whatever it is that they consider that thing, and they put them away so you can talk. So you need to be in a position, say, I don't have to fear that I'm missing out, because you're never ever missing out. One of the systems, one of the techniques is you actually check your social media and the connections after a certain period.
Right.
Say like, I'll check after every 3 hours.
So you set limits for yourself.
Yes, you set limits for yourself. Because once you do that, you realize that you're actually not missing out. You haven't missed out on the latest meme. You haven't missed out on the latest tweets about this. You never really miss out.
Yeah.
The only person who misses out is somebody who decides this is my job. That's the time they need to worry about it. Otherwise, it's your career.
So let me ask Dr. Catherine, what is this doing to us psychologically? The fact that we're finding it so hard to switch off, and that we're constantly feeling that need to be online. What is it doing to our psyche?
Yeah, we are getting more people getting more anxious, feeling overwhelmed, because they have so much to do in addition to, because life hasn't changed, that people still need social networking is very important. There's this joke which has been going around that we should have, in every home should have a shaker, a salt shaker that can switch off all the gadgets, and when you turn it on, all the gadgets go off, regardless of whether there is electricity or not, and get everybody back to the dinner table so that people can discuss and get to know each other. And exactly, I think that is what should be should happen. We need a gadget which at a certain point can switch off all the gadgets, all the electronics, because we have all sorts of electronics, and have everybody sit together and talk. And that's a time, like recently we had the International Day Against Drug Abuse, where the theme was we need to listen to the youth. Now, how do you listen to the youth when you're in the car with them, they are on earphones or headphones? How do you listen to the youth when you're talking to them, they are on WhatsApp? How do you listen to the youth when dad or mom comes home with a laptop and they have to finish an assignment? How do you listen to the youth when the TV is on? So we actually need to do something, and have a way of, we might not have that gadget which switches off everything, but we need every family or every unit, let's decide that today, I mean every day at this certain time, everybody sits together, leave your phones away, let's discuss, whether it's dinner, whether it's a discussion of how was your day. How do you get to know how my day was if we are talking and you're still on your mobile phone? So if we don't do that, then we will continue seeing people are overwhelmed. They are not overwhelmed because of their work. They are not overwhelmed because of schoolwork if it's children. And we are now even seeing children sexting that through WhatsApp groups which are secrets and have a password. And parents need to be keen. When you have a child of under 18, they are putting a password on their WhatsApp group. What is it that they are hiding? So when communication goes on secrecy for children, then we expect, and that's why you are seeing very weird parties being organized, and you wonder how did they get organized? They were organized on WhatsApp groups. So we really need to watch out where technology is putting us.
So the fallout from this goes above and beyond just us needing some me time. There's something that you brought up. I think we get a taste of being switched off when electricity goes and your devices die, and you're sitting there like, what did people used to do in those days? I think, you know, there are people who just feel like, this is it. We have to accept that we're living in this digital age, and you know, people don't go outside, children don't go outside to play anymore. This is how we connect. This is sort of our, you know, current reality. So what do you say to that, James?
I actually don't have a problem with the current reality we have. There's a fallacy we have, especially in a big cities like the Nairobi's, Mombasas, where we think that everybody lives the way we live. A lot of people who live in this country don't have gadgets all the time. They don't have the best internet connectivity. So this is not like an issue where it's not a huge majority of Kenyans have to worry about. Maybe a large majority of Nairobians, but not a huge majority of Kenyans have to worry about, am I really missing out? Because you find a lot of people, I mean, most Kenyans actually don't have that kind of access that we think they do.
Exactly. So because we live in these cities, we think...
we think that everybody actually doesn't play. Many kids are still playing on the streets. I mean, if you go out on the streets of Nairobi today, or many towns in Kenya, you will see kids playing. So you will see them doing their thing. The thing you need to worry about for somebody who has kids who have access to these things is, most people don't know this. Like, I read a report where the founder of iPhone, Steve Jobs, actually didn't allow his kids to play with they didn't have access to iPhones because he knew that they need to grow up. They actually need to have the experience of being a child. And unfortunately, a lot of our children today are not enjoying the experience of falling down and grazing their knee. And this is an important part of growing up. You need to know what's happening. So as a parent with a child, one of the first things you need to think about it is try and make sure that they don't get a phone as early as possible. Because we always want to think like, no, my child is now 10 years old. he needs to have a phone. He
doesn't all his friends have a phone.
He doesn't need a phone. What is he talking about?
Well, let's examine the reality for a second here, because we put up a poll last night to just see how people feel about being attached to their phones and their gadgets, and whether me time is really as important as I think it should be. Willis Raburu is over on our social media wall. So Willis, what's going on in regards to this discussion?
All right, the form of the poll was this. We asked the question, when I get home I can't do without, and there was 3 choices. There was the phone, quality time, and TV. Of course, as expected, 41% of the people say they can't do without their phone, 33% of the people say they can't do without quality time, and 26% of the people say they can't do without TV. Let's break that down. So I'll start with the quality time because that was more interesting. The most people who responded to that were females. All right, and then also the females who responded were between the ages of 28 and 35, and then for the 41% with the phone, just like our panelists have been talking about, this is between the age of 15 to 26, and most of them, it's a good mix. Most of them are male, but also there are some females involved, and those who are TV are slightly older. Of course, they were from the ages of 24 to 35. So basically what we are seeing, like the conversation you guys are having, is that mostly the teenagers are the ones who say they are looking for the phone. Of course, the females still want their quality time. And then also it is looking like more like the older demographic are the ones who are still stuck on watching television. So basically that is as far as that poll that we conducted is concerned. You can still talk to us using the hashtag #PowerBreakfast, and also there's somebody who is the adventurer who used the hashtag and said majority of the work should be done at the workplace and little, if necessary, carried at home. And then we also have at Simba Safe saying, interesting topic, we are learning a lot today, and of course all those are still coming up, but for now it seems, Joey, the most important gadget when people get home is the phone, and predominantly among the teenagers.
Some interesting research there done on Twitter. Thank you so much, Willis. I'll go back to the doctor. It's interesting to see that from the poll that we had there, young people want to be on their phones. So even as an adult who has a family and you're coming back and saying, I want to spend quality time with my family, and you find your family is on their phones, what do you do, and how important is it to set those parameters of, look, I need at least 1 hour here where we sit down, talk about our days and such? How important is it for the parent to set those parameters?
Yes, it's very critical that parents set what we call screen time. Because it's not just the phone, it could be any other screen, it could be a laptop, it could be any other screen you can think about, PlayStation. And when we say they are on their phone, they are not just using the regular call, SMS, they are on mobile data. And mobile data is what most young people are using, and with mobile data they have WhatsApp groups. You could find a kid in several WhatsApp groups. They are on Twitter, they are on Facebook, and I don't think it's just children alone. I don't think also it's all the women who want quality time, because I know I've had couples who are struggling where they feel it's the female who is on their WhatsApp Chama group and old school, old girl
planning weddings
or planning weddings or catching up. So it's not just the teenagers, we also have ladies, we also have men. I've had many couples who complain, we cannot talk because at home he comes or she comes and is on phone, seems to be chatting. In fact, chatting is the main complaint. So I think it is a wake-up call for families. And now that we are talking about the young being on their mobile, that's a generation for tomorrow. And we don't correct things and see the importance of quality time without those electronics, then we are going to lose out. So we need actually to be cautious as a parent, that you need to every day say from this time to this time we have an activity to do, whether it's dinner or if it's, I've seen families who like have, if for Christians they will have a Bible study and discuss about their day, how your day was. I've seen families who insist, let's eat dinner, and as we take dinner together we talk about our day. How do we get to know how your day was if you're on electronics. So it's a wake-up call. If we don't correct that, things are continuing to go wrong. I've told you personally, I've had couples who are in the bridge of divorcing because they are not communicating because of electronics.
Yeah, it's a very serious issue. James, do you think an employer should be able to contact you after, let's say you're a 9 to 5 person, like after 6 p.m.? Should they be able to just WhatsApp you in the middle of the night and say, hey, did you send those reports? Or, you know, what's the protocol there?
The answer is no. Your employer gives you, you're employed for a certain reason. Unless you're in emergency services. You're a fireman, you're a doctor, you're in the kind of career where you need to be on call. If you're not in those careers, your employer actually needs to understand that you're there for a certain specific time and specific assignments. If, for instance, you're supposed to be in the office from 8 to 5, and you don't do your assignments, then they're allowed to look for you. But if you do your assignments within the time that you're supposed to do your assignments, then there's no reason why they need to look for you. I
think this digital age has made us, you know, sometimes you start to feel guilty if you switch your phone off because you're feeling like, what if my boss tries to call me? And, you know, but like you're saying, you've put in your work, you've done what it is that you're required to do.
Actually, if your boss is calling you after hours, it means you're not very good at their job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're actually not very good at their job. Because they're supposed to chat with you, and you're supposed to do certain assignments. And if you're doing them, and they keep calling you, it means that they're actually not sure about their own assignments. They're supposed to delegate to you a certain assignment, you do it, and then they leave you alone to do your job. It's only when they feel that you're not doing your job. But if you're doing your job, they're not supposed to call you. In fact, that's actually harassing you. You're supposed to be able to enjoy your time. So that when you go back to work, you can actually deliver in a good mindset.
And you're rested and you're good to go. We're winding up our conversation now. Maybe just some final thoughts from Dr. Catherine about, you know, where the balance is between work life and home life, between online life and actual, you know, reality that we're living.
Yes, I think it's important for every person to decide that they need a break and to strategize on how they are going to break. I mean, to take that break. I know there are some workplaces where somehow you may need to communicate, but like I said, even doctors or nurses, you're not on duty throughout. That you know your shift today, I'm on call. You are not on call 24/7. So you can't say that because I'm a doctor, my phone will always be next to me even when I'm sleeping. You need to rest. So I believe whatever work you're doing, whether you're a media consultant, a social media consultant, you can't be on call 24/7. Then you need to delegate and have somebody else take different days, different shifts, so that you can also rest. So I don't believe there's anyone who can say I can never have a break because of my work. So it's upon us to discipline ourselves and decide that on such and such a time it's my break time. There are people who say it's sleep time, I leave my phone at the sitting room.
Outside of even the bedroom.
I go to the bedroom. Whatever happens at night, I will handle it in the morning. So people need to do that, and as family, because my concern is also with the families that we've seen teenagers, young adults, how they are busy on their mobile phones and mobile data. We actually also need to correct that and instruct them. We say home is not a democracy. If you ask everybody what do you want us to do, the crazy rules that I want to sleep when I'm tired.
So there needs to be a set of
in the family you need to have some order, some limits, that we cannot have electronics from this time to this time, so that people can grow with the right habits. Otherwise we are seeing relationships break, because if you're always on electronics, your relationships will break. It could be your spouse relation, partner relations, it could be your children, it could be extended family. Yes.
James, just quickly as we finish this conversation here, technology is great, and we're not saying living in the digital age is a terrible thing. It's connected us, it's allowed us ease of access to information and to each other. But final words on this conversation from you.
Well, we need to think about this thing, about this technology thing. It's an amazing thing. Today I'm able to chat with somebody in another country on my phone, either by texting them, WhatsApping them, or using WhatsApp call or Facebook call. It's an amazing tool to have. And we sometimes as human beings, we always, so what is it doing to me? Well, it's not a bad thing. The one thing we need to decide is, listen, we have access to this technology. The only people we need to really worry about it are the people who need to worry are the security services who are doing like, are these people doing funny things with this technology?
Yeah.
No one knows what's happening because we're all learning this thing together.
Right.
So let us learn together. Let us not panic because we're seeing people online on their phones. There are some levels which are of course extreme, but let's not panic. Somebody may actually be doing some work on that phone. So let's look at it in a way like it's an amazing tool. It's an amazing way of connecting us to the world, and the extremes will always be in anything. There's nothing that doesn't have an extreme. So it's a good thing. I believe it's a good thing. So
self-regulation perhaps is key. Interesting discussion. I hope that you've learned something, and I hope that from this discussion you're able to have a take home that you need to rest and you need some me time. It's important even if we're living in a digital age. A little bit of music. I see Willis Raburu looking like he's about to